Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like your entire life it depends on you not dropping the ball? I'm talking about the bills, the stability, the future of your family. And if you slow down, even a little, just for a moment, everything could fall apart. Most men never say this out loud, but millions of men, they feel it every single day. Most men think that this pressure that they feel is just a part of being responsible. It's a part of being a man. That if they just work harder, if they push a little more, everything, it's eventually going to stabilize, right? But the real problem is something far more dangerous. And what most men don't realize is this. The provider trap, it doesn't start when life gets hard. It starts the moment a man begins believing that his value is only what he produces. And if that belief goes unchecked, it slowly destroys the man behind the role. So today we're going to talk about the provider trap. Now, here's the strange part. The provider trap, it doesn't look like failure. It looks like you're doing everything right. You're working hard. You're taking responsibility. You're solving every problem. But slowly, responsibility, it's not something you do. And it actually becomes who you are. And I can tell you this, once that happens, something subtle begins to happen. That man, he disappears, and only the role remains. And if that pattern continues long enough, it creates 4 hidden consequences that most men never see coming. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But first, we need to understand how men fall into this trap in the first place. Most men don't fall into this trap overnight. It happens slowly. Many men, we grow up taking responsibility early. We do things like we help our families. We begin working young. I can tell you, I personally started working when I was 14 years old. All right? We're taking care of our siblings. So the mind, it learns rules. It learns rules like don't drop the ball. And that rule, it becomes part of your identity. Then society, it reinforces that message. Things like a man, a real man, he provides. Handle your business. Don't complain. All the pressure that you have, it becomes normal. Even when it's heavy. Instead of saying things like, this is a lot, most men, they say, I just need to work harder. And that weight, I can tell you this, that weight, it keeps building. All right? Let me ask you something honestly. When was the last time that you rested? Without feeling guilty. Not scrolling on your phone, not distracted, just resting. I can say this, most providers, most men, they can't remember. And to me, that's a warning sign. The provider trap, it begins to look like you're working constantly. But although you're working constantly, you feel empty. This is one for me, and I'm sure a lot of others. You're thinking about money all the time. You're feeling responsible for everyone's stability, and you're ignoring your own needs. And you're slowly losing time for rest, joy, growth, and eventually something subtle happens. That man, he disappears, and only the role remains. And you're not living for your life anymore. You're maintaining everyone else's. And when that happens, I can tell you, you're not going to be in a good place. You're not going to be in a good spot. I know from experience. And what this does is it creates 4 hidden consequences that most men, they never expect. So let's talk about those costs. Cost 1 is emotional isolation. When men begin believing that they must always be strong, they stop sharing. They don't share what they carry. They're just carrying it. They're carrying this massive weight on them and they don't share it at all. So that pressure, it becomes silent. Cost 2 is exhaustion without language. Many men, they say things like, I'm just tired. But what they really mean is, I'm carrying too much alone. And most men, they're not going to put their problems or their drama or their responsibility or their weight on somebody else. So for them, they're not going to open up and say how they really feel. They're just going to say, I'm just tired. Cost 3, they disconnect from the family. I can tell you, ironically, the people you're working the hardest for can start feeling distant. It happens because presence, it actually requires energy. And exhaustion, when you're tired, it stills your presence. I can tell you, I am exhausted and tired. I have no time for my son. I have no time for my kids. And you begin to feel distant from them. And you begin to feel like they're distant from you. It's because you're tired, because you're exhausted all the time. Cost 4, your identity, it starts shrinking. A man that identity has shrunk, they become their paycheck. They become a problem solver, a stabilizer. But what he forgets is he's also a father. He's a partner. He's a man with dreams. Now, here's the truth that most men never hear. Providing is not the problem. It's really not. What the problem is its identity collapse. All right? Healthy provision, it's not something that's self-sacrifice. It's not self-sacrificing until you disappear. Healthy provision is actually leadership. And real leadership, it requires balance. A healthy provider, he does 4 things. He supports his family financially because he understands that responsibility matters. All right? He protects his energy because burnt out leaders, I can tell you this, burnt out leaders, they can't lead. Number 3 is they build systems that reduce pressure. All right? They build systems like financial systems, time systems. A good one, boundaries. Because he understands that structure, it protects providers from burnout. All right? Number 4 is he stays emotionally present because presence is more valuable than perfection. And if a man wants to escape that provider trap, he understands this. All right? But he also understands this. And what I would tell you, you have to understand this. There are 4 shifts that can change everything if you want to escape that provider trap. All right? Shift 1 is you have to separate identity from income. Your income, it's an expression of your value, but it's not the definition of it. All right? It is not the definition of your value. The next shift is you have to build systems that reduce pressure because systems, what it does is it creates breathing room. Once I place systems into my financial life, into my financial part of my life, I began to create margin. All right, that's what the systems do when I'm talking about it creates breathing room. Systems, it creates financial margin for you. It allows you to have better time management. It gives you structure. And in order to be a good man, you need structure in your life. The next shift is let your family see the real you. Strength, it's not silence. Your family doesn't need a superhero. They need a human leader. They need a human being to lead them. And when you're a zombie and you're in this provider trap, you're basically just moving and you're just operating. But you're not a leader. You're not a human being. It's like you're some AI created genetic thing. Shift 4 is define success beyond money. Success, it includes peace. Success, it includes presence. Connections, it includes stability. Income, I can tell you this. Your income, it does matter. But guess what? Income isn't the entire scoreboard. That scoreboard doesn't just say income. When they escape the provider trap, he still works hard, but he doesn't feel crushed. He doesn't feel crushed by the pressure. He still leads, but he doesn't carry everything alone. He still provides, but he also lives. All right? That's what I would call sustainable strength. I can tell you this, you don't escape the provider trap by abandoning responsibility. You escape it by redefining leadership. A man's value is not just what he produces. It's the stability, it's wisdom, and it's the presence that he brings to the people around him. I would tell you this, definitely provide well. You got to provide well. You got to lead well, but please don't disappear during the process, because I can tell you your family needs you, not just what you earn. Before you go, if you ever felt this pressure of being the provider, I want you to comment provider below. I want to see how many men are carrying this silently. Almost called it a complex. That's why I froze there. And if this video, if it spoke to you, if it spoke something you've been carrying quietly, make sure you subscribe. Because I can tell you this, in the next video, we're going to talk about something that every provider needs. And what that is how to build financial margin so one crisis doesn't break everything. With that being said, later.